gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to some kind of weird racing. This is more of this kinky Scandinavian crap.
Nah, this is Belgian. With wet weather on in ASSETTO. Oh, God! Mike Magus. Oh! And he collects Jonathan Young as he skates around the track. We are in qualifying here for the 1 hour of Spa in the wet. The car we are focusing on currently is the Lamborghini Huracan of Murray Iwanchuk. So I'm going with
Iwanchuk?
Iwanchuk. That might
like
be
the hockey player.
Ah, good point. And there is, of course, newcomer to ESR, Matthew Higgs. The Audi R8. Multiplus by Land Motorsports, currently in second place. First place belonging to Mike Stopmill here as qualifying is running down. We've got Stopmill, then it is Higgs. Third place belongs to... I cannot see. Fourth place belonging to... I cannot see. Okay, third place is John Barker. This is the problem with the way the standings are being displayed here is they're not in order. They're being displayed based on track position, which in qualifying is not the most helpful visual aid.
Correct.
This is on board with Matthew Higgs. He's not going to finish this lap, so he's just going through like more track time in the rain, always helpful. The rain in this game is pretty heavy, to be honest, and the car does definitely have a tendency to skate a little bit. So beware of that when we get to the race.
I believe there's some sort of hiccup that Martin had said happened during the recording, so I don't know. After the first couple minutes of the race or something like that, some weird stuff happens.
Well, let's get ready for all the possible drug-induced hallucinations. So there is the grid. It's going to be Mike Stopmill, Matthew Higgs, John Barker, Car Heroes, P3. Ah, it's gone. And now I can't see it. Sixth place is going to be Michael Magus. Seventh's going to be Murray Iwanchuk. And then there's... Oh, Travis Walsh just took pole. So Travis Walsh to the front, right at the end, in his Lexus. Good work by Travis.
Now you have to tell them all again. You have to readjust it in your head.
I would have to actually see the freaking results before I could even do that.
No, you've got to do it from memory.
I can't. I think we have something like, we have 14 cars. No, 13, because Andy Blade's not racing. That's scrub. There it is. Travis Walsh, Mike Stopmill, Matthew Higgs, John Barker, Car Heroes, Mike Magus, Murray Iwanchuk,
it's going to go away. Faster.
unknown first name Rivera, James Butler, Jonathan Young, Leandro Carroll, Wesley Stokes, and John the Peach Picha.
Is it perhaps Jorge Rivera?
Might be Jorge Rivera. I don't believe which if it's the former UFC fighter Jorge Rivera, that's gonna be interesting.
Because he can't see good.
No, he can't. He can't. Not after Mr. Bisping finished with him.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have talked all that shit.
Yeah, there was a bizarrely large amount of shit talk between Michael Bisping and George Rivera, and to this date, I don't really actually know what the heat was even about, to be honest.
I think Jorge just decided, I can beat this guy. Let's talk an enormous amount of shit to try and get attention. Oh wait, I just got wrecked.
Yeah, I don't really know why you would have thought that, because to be honest, it was a bit of a gimme fight for Bisping.
Pretty much. And the bizarre amount of trash talk from the trainer, which is, you're not even fighting. Just shut your mouth, little boy.
Yeah, it happens. Mike Stopmill, by the way, snapped up pole actually right at the end there, so he'll be starting on pole from Travis Wallace. So look for those two to be battling. It's Bentley versus Lexus on the front row. This will be a rolling start, which is always interesting. Basically, the deal is that instead of the standing start that we see usually in our videos, they are going to be in motion. Oh, director crashed. There we go.
Very nice. Well played.
Thank you, Robert Downey Jr. And we're back. And here we go. You can see a couple of cars getting off the line a bit slowly. There's unfortunately still a difference between the manual and the automatic start procedure that some people are using. I would recommend going with the manual personally, as Mike Stopmill got held up there a little bit, and they are heading towards the start-finish line. Waiting for the green flag. And come on, go green. There we go. We are off. They head over to Eau Rouge, and it is the Lexus of Travis Wallace that has gotten the jump on Mike Stoppmill's Bentley. Matthew Higgs in third position in the Audi. We ride on board with him in the spray of the Bentley of Mike Stoppmill.
That's true.
Matthew Higgs looking to set up an outside move here down the Camel Straight into Les Combes. And... contact! Looked like a green Lamborghini or Ferrari came through there, which suggests probably Murray Iwanchuk may have been
I can't believe you can't pronounce Iwanchuk.
Iwanchuk. I don't know.
It's not an Ewok.
I prefer the Ewok, frankly. They're all cuddly. So it is Travis Wallace leading from Matthew Higgs, Iwanchuk, Stoppmill, Barker, Heroes. Carroll is 7th. And then we have a blank back to Jonathan Young in 11th. John Peach at 12th. And Michael Magus bringing up the rear of the pack in his Bentley. Mind you, Andy Blade is listed there, but you can see he's in the pit lane and is not participating.
We were trying to do some live streaming, but Andy just has no idea what the heck he was doing. He was trying to live broadcast through Discord somehow so that he could record it. And I was like, but we just broadcast straight to the YouTube channel. I don't even have access to the YouTube channel. Okay.
I mean, I am intrigued by the whole Discord broadcast system. Kind of just want to see what
it seems to work fine.
Oh, well, that's cool.
But it was a combination of Andy'd never done anything like that before, and we didn't have access to the YouTube channel, and he couldn't hear, like, my microphone sound was not coming through, and he couldn't figure that one out. And but there was a lovely discussion and something to do with, I can't remember what, in the background. His kids were talking a lot. That much we can get through.
Well, that's so lovely. What would you suggest, the Discord broadcast or the Parsec? What do you think worked
either
better?
Or doesn't really matter. I don't know if the Discord would be good for a group or not. I have no idea.
Well, we've got Wallace still leading the way from Higgs, Iwanchuk, Barker, Carroll, Heroes, Butler. It looks like Mike Stoppmill's hit the pit lane. Michael Magus is also in the pits, so bad news for the Bentley crew. It looks like they've accrued some damage, and that is going to sideline them from the battle for the lead a little bit.
That is, in fact, a lot of damage.
I can comment on my damage, which was a completely removed front end. I assume similar for Mr. Stoppmill, as we went off at the same corner and had more or less the same incident, which was going through Blancpain in a very quick manner. Someone has dropped way back, because I see Wesley Stokes is now up to 7th place. Not sure who we lost in that exchange. Further back, George Rivera or Jorge Rivera, or possibly something entirely different. We'll see if we can get his name at some point.
Giuseppe Rivera
is in 11th. Well, no, that'd be a G.
Don't try and limit his creativity like that.
Could be Javier.
That could be.
Could be something incredibly boring. Could just be John.
Joseph.
And we are riding with Matthew Higgs. I do hope we get some other driver's view, because we've seen this entire race so far from the view of Matthew Higgs. No disrespect to Little Higgs, but we'd kind of like to see what other people are doing.
I would agree.
So Spa, of course, is a very challenging track at the best of times. When it's wet, it's a really big challenge, especially this corner coming up here, which is Blancpain. That is where I went off and speared into the wall. That is also where Mike Stoppmill went off and went into the wall. So there you go. Into the bus stop Higgs goes as he continues to track down the Lexus of Travis Wallace. So it is Lexus, Audi, Ferrari, then 2 Porsches, the Honda or Acura of John Barker, and the Ferrari of Leandro Carroll. I believe it was Carroll who dropped back earlier as well. I think I can confirm that. Wesley Stokes appears to have dropped back to presumably 8th place. I think he's in a Mercedes. John Peaches is in the top 10 with his Lexus. And as stated, the two Bentleys are at the back of the pack. Mike Stockmill in 12th, Michael Magus in 13th position. Actually, Travis Wallace is catching up to them very quickly, so he may actually lap Michael Magus within, I would say, probably around 4 to 5 laps would be the door would open there.
I think it's probably time to run Travis right off the road.
If someone could get near him, I would be in favor of that. Travis, of course, in one of the few Lexuses I actually like. I sat in one at a car show and was like, hey, this is a Lexus that I do not hate. It's amazing. But
could you get back out of it?
I could, actually. It was a pretty comfortable car.
That's a good sign.
Wasn't like my experience inside the Corvette or the Camaro, where it didn't want me to leave. The racing-esque cars that are easy for me to get in and out of are the things like the Nissan, the Lexus, the BMW M6. The Bentley's pretty easy as well. They're, relatively large, tall cars that can accommodate a man of my carriage easily. And that's kind of really the entirety of why I actually would probably choose one of them if I were to get a GT3 racing seat.
We're going to make you race in a bucket truck.
That's fun. So, unfortunately, it looks like we are really just going to continue to run with Matthew Higgs here, which, Matthew Higgs, take a bow, man. You're the star of the show today, that's for sure.
Correct. Also, I haven't had any audio on mine since the first couple minutes, so I assume that's just an error in uploading.
Yeah, well, I muted my audio because obviously I don't want to capture the audio with our commentary.
That seems fair.
And perhaps something is going to be fixed here by I believe this is Martin recording. So
that is correct. Martin is recording.
There, hey, look at that. We get the standings finally. Travis Wallace, Richard Higgs, James Butler, 3rd place. Go James.
Ha-cha-cha.
Leandro Carroll, Car Heroes.
A few moments later.
Interesting.
See that there was audio for that, but there's no audio for the race.
Oh, that's a little bit disappointing. Hopefully that's the upload and not the file itself.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Just put random cartoon car noises on over top.
So we were riding on board with Murray Iwanchuk. He's coming up to Jonathan Young. Mike Stockmill there, who is a lap down. That is
my God,
amazing. But yes, that is what happens when Stockmill has to make a pit stop to replace a solid chunk of his front end. He is running in 13th place ahead of Jonathan Young and Murray Iwanchuk, who are battling over 6th position. Car Heroes in the background in the Porsche is in 8th. And side by side, pretty deadly here. This is a Ferrari versus Ferrari, so no advantage in the car. Identical cars, maybe slightly different setups for Jonathan Young and Murray Iwanchuk. Murray has been a top-notch driver, one of the top guys. Should be mentioned that I do have a complaint about the Bentley. Myself and Mike Stockmill are actually running with our blinkers on because our rain lights suck, and people couldn't see them.
That's horrendous.
Yeah, people could not see our rain lights, so we just were like, okay, PSA, we're turning on the left and right turn signal so that we can be seen.
That seems unsafe at best.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, we thought it was off because, Travis was running behind me for a bit, and he's going, I can't see it. And then I finally popped out in, the rear swingman view of the car and was like, it's in my bumper. He's like, oh, well, that sucks. Iwanchuk putting the pressure on Jonathan Young. Car Heroes in the background. Martin, the battle. Go to the battle, Martin. Jonathan Young has lost 6th place to Murray Iwanchuk, and we're riding on board with Car Heroes. No disrespect, Car Heroes, but there were better things we could have been looking at. Here is the interior of the Ferrari of Jonathan Young's car. He is racing, I believe that is like the Team Lebanon car, which is, wonder if Jonathan Young hails with some Lebanese heritage, perhaps? Or if he just likes the car.
I was actually asking that question on one of the live broadcasts because I couldn't think of another flag that had a cypress tree on it, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's Lebanon.
Yeah, it's a Team Lebanon car. Of course, all these liveries, you can have custom liveries in ASSETTO CORSA, and we might at some point.
I know.
Really make an effort for that, but I think only
efforts are being made.
I think only Andy Blade is. This is Competizione. I think you're working with ASSETTO CORSA, the older game.
I don't know.
With the Mini Coopers.
We'd have to talk with Jesse about that.
Yeah, that's the older game. The ASSETTO CORSA Competizione only has these GT3s.
My God,
it's a Blancpain specific game. I guess we'll talk about the game real quick. It's very new, a little buggy. Not gonna lie. There are some problems. Like for example, Travis booted into this server and went, "Okay, so it deleted my profile and now I can't turn." That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah,
but it shows great promise. It's got the Blancpain GT Series official license. So these are the official cars of Blancpain that you are seeing before you here. That is the Ferrari of Leandro Carroll in the red, being traced by the green Porsche of James Butler. James Butler is still doing very well up in 4th place. Congratulations, James. Doing his thing. They're approaching the lapped car of Michael Magus and are about a half minute behind Richard Higgs. Who is about 20 seconds behind Travis Wallace. So the field is getting pretty spread out at this point as the drivers deal with the rain. And obviously there's a lot of difficulty overtaking in the rain because offline is going to have like next to no grip. And for those of you at home who are not sure what I mean by line, you see how the track changes color there over to the darker section where the cars generally are driving through the turns. It's taking the water slowly away from that area and providing a lot more grip. So this is Wesley Stokes that we are on board with. He is behind Murray Iwachuk in 6th place. Jonathan Young has been dropped to 7th as Wesley has gotten past him in the... actually, I believe that's a custom car that is being run by Wesley with the Fanatec sponsorship. Kind of a little bit plain. White with just like a little bit of silver, but it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think, Byron.
I think it's atrocious, and he should be ashamed.
What do you think I should do for my livery? Any particularly? Clearly, we're doing an alcohol company. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Oh, alcohol company. You should definitely do White Claw.
I mean, Alexander Keys came to mind just because I like that color scheme.
I mean, I suppose. But I think it'd be funnier just to have the most Kyle-oriented car, so when you smash into drywall, then you're good to go.
Well, the most Kyle-oriented car would definitely be Pabst Blue Ribbon.
That's probably true.
Because that's what Kyle drinks.
Not surprised. It doesn't have any alcohol in it, and it's cheap.
He's also a very big fan of Bush.
Again, same thing.
I actually restate my argument. So Wesley Stokes is putting on some pressure on Murray Iwanchuk. He's got Jonathan Young, car heroes. So this looks like the battle on the track really here from 4th down to 8th place. This appears to be where action is going on. Or I got 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Pardon me. So that's the problem. It's 4th to 7th. Looks like John Barker is not too far behind this as well. And then it is, we're using the pin name George Rivera until we are informed otherwise. It is 9th. Not sure who. Oh, Michael Magus is in 10th. So he's made it into the top 10 without passing anybody.
Currently blowing the doors completely off Mike Stockmill.
Yeah, I'm 11 seconds ahead of Mike Stockmill. This is something you're probably never going to see again. Jonathan Young in the 961 Corse car. Again, that's the Team Lebanon car, effectively. Ferrari still trailing the Mercedes of Wesley Stokes. I believe the only Mercedes in the field today actually is Wesley Stokes, with the absence of Braden Purcell, who has been the top Mercedes driver to this point in time. Not a lot of, there's a fair amount of variety of the cars, but just because of how small the field is, a lot of cars missing here. No Aston Martins, which is a bit lame. I don't believe we have any BMWs in the field, which is also a little bit harsh.
Well, I mean, you could definitely drive one.
I could, but I'd have to give up my Bentley.
That's fine. It's just a different thing that starts with a B.
That's, that's one of your better arguments, to be honest. I don't think we have any Lamborghinis in the field today, which is a bit weird.
Well, see, here's the thing. In this particular game, I can't tell a Lamborghini from a Bentley because they're all styled weird.
I'm pretty sure we can, if we put a Lamborghini and a Bentley together, you'll be able to tell the difference.
That might be the case, but I couldn't. Like the couple of times I've done live commentary, it ended up like, oh yeah, you've got Ferraris and Lamborghinis in here. Really? They all look the same to me.
The Ferrari and the Lambo, I think, are easy to mix up. But I think, and I think you could mix up a Bentley with like a BMW, or a Bentley and a Lexus, because of the similar coloring. But there's a couple that stand out, at least as somewhat identifiable from the rest of the field. Like the Porsches are pretty, easy to pick out.
Well, yeah, because Porsche literally never changes their styling for any reason.
That's true. It's been the same. It's been the same since the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So Wesley Stokes' Mercedes still leading the Ferrari of Jonathan Young. Murray Iwanchuk is still actually is still very close. And Car Heroes in the Porsche is still hanging on to the back end of this. So they're still running fairly close together, relatively even paces. George Rivera, 9th place. Jonathan Barker. John Peach is 12th. And then it is the Bentleys in 10th and 11th there. Mike Magus and Mike Stockmill. They are down a lap. So obviously misfortune has taken both the Bentleys and John Peach probably through the pit lane at some point in this race.
Agreed.
See, like, you can clearly see the Ferrari's rain light. It's the blinking light there at the back. That's very good. And then the Lexuses do as well. But the Bentley, terrible rain lighting.
Incredibad. Fired. Banned for life.
Pretty much. You got all that high budget, that luxury car money, and you come up with that rain lighting system. That's just terrible. That is the worst rain lighting system I've ever seen.
Fired. Banned for life.
Mm-hmm. You are banned from the garden, sir. We continue to ride with Jonathan Young. He's leading Car Heroes, and they're catching up to Wesley Stokes. Wesley's making some mistakes. It's going to open up the door for the Ferrari and the Porsche at some point down the run here. Wesley having one of his better runs, though. Top 5 position, 5th place, doing real well. As they head through... are we at Blancpain? We're at Blancpain, yeah. And then we'll be into the bus stop chicane and on to the start-finish straight after that. We'll see if anyone makes a mistake here through the chicane. Nope, looks pretty clean. There were definitely some mistakes in this chicane, though. We know Martin Edmonds is not a fan of this chicane. We've seen him mess it up quite a few times.
Well, I mean, he wouldn't mess up so bad if he just steered left, right, left.
And they're all running roughly 2-minute 34 lap time, so very close lapping between these three. We'll see what John Barker is running. Yeah, John Barker is a little bit off their pace. He's running a 2:35, so he's about a second slower a lap. Not likely to be part of this particular battle. Through Eau Rouge we go. Pressure still coming from Jonathan Young. Nothing doing there. Michael Magus, by the way, is keeping Mike Stockmill about 11 seconds behind him, so Stockmill not on the charge you would generally expect from him.
Yeah, at this point, I'd expect him to be back up to like 8th or 9th place.
He's still in 11th, though. So at the front, it's still Travis Wallace leading from Matthew Higgs. Looks like Higgs has actually closed down Wallace quite a bit. He's got it down to less than 10 seconds there. So Higgs on the charge. He's found a comfortable level of grip here in the wet. And he still has 38 plus minutes to go. So we'll see what he can do on that. There is Travis Wallace, the race leader in the Lexus. Actually, one of my favorite cars in the grid. There is Matthew Higgs, Audi R8, second place. His best lap is a 2:29. James Butler is in third for Black Swan. He is in the Porsche. That is the same car that got absolutely wrecked with Tim Pappas driving the wheel, and serious injuries for Tim Pappas. Get well soon. Murray Iwanchuk in fourth position there in the Ferrari from Rinaldi Racing. I actually like that. I do like that livery. It's pretty neat. I mean, I'm always a sucker for green.
It looks like a 7-Up.
A little bit, yeah. I was actually thinking that totally could be a 7-Up livery.
Or it could just be like a knockoff, like a Sprite Up, or like a what
Spritz
are they?
Up.
Spritz Up. There you go.
Yeah, definitely. Any kind of sort of lime soda beverage would probably work.
Correct.
And there they
Great
are.
Great value up.
Yeah, there they are from the helicopter cam, making their way through the bus stop chicane and then onto the start-finish straight. One of the start-finish straights here. This is the longest pit lane you're ever going to see, by the way. If we get a shot of a car going through it, it's pretty ridiculous. Following that up, Jonathan Young has overtaken Wesley Stokes for fifth. You're fired, Martin. You missed it again. So we don't know if this is Martin doing the. Well, we're pretty sure this is Martin doing the director. We can.
I don't know if he was controlling it.
Oh. See, probably either him or Andy.
Ordinarily, we'd be getting helicopter shots and craziness, and you can actually do replays in this.
I know, it's actually in some ways it's really good. In some ways it's not very good.
Also, Steam notifications. Well played.
Indeed. So we're on board with Murray Iwanchuk. They're pretty much running his best laps of the race. That last lap was his best, 31.749. Wesley Stokes under pressure from Car Heroes. This is a battle for sixth now. Looks like Jonathan Young went off at some point. He's dropped down to 8th place. So Jonathan Young overtook Wesley Stokes only to give the spot basically right back. And Wesley is moving very, very slowly. And that's going to let Car Heroes go all the way around the outside of Rivage and into 5th position as they head into No Name. And then Pouillon. This is one of the few tracks that actually I know almost every turn name.
What are you pooing on?
Pouillon. Whoa, there might be the problem. If you see what I see, Wesley's bonnet or hood appears to be loose.
Oh, I got you. I'm like, no, it just still looks like a car to me, Jim.
It's definitely open. So he's at some point
for added cooling.
He's at some point he's hit something with the front of his car at some point, and it has broken. James Butler under immense pressure from Murray Iwanchuk there, side by side through Blancpain. This could be deadly. They're going to head towards the bus stop chicane. Is the Porsche going to have the advantage through there, or is it going to be the Ferrari? It looks like the Porsche has managed to get a little bit of a gap back against the Ferrari. I was going to actually run the Ferrari in this series, but then Mike Stoppman was like, no, run the Bentley. I'll help you out. And he's done a lot to help me out, actually, so I can't complain about it.
Including crashing into the wall. I saw it.
Well, in this particular race, yes. Problems for Leandro Carroll. He slipped down to 12th place. That is last. And it looks like we've lost Mike Stoppmill at some point from the race. He is no longer shown on the standings there. So problems for Bentley. We have had our entry cut in half. James Butler hanging on. We got to cheer for James Butler to take the podium here, don't we? He's our boy.
I mean, probably, but that Travis kid's not too bad.
Well, Travis is in first, so we can also cheer for Travis.
I think Travis is going to go so fast that he's going to take all 3 spots.
Maybe he is. He's only about 2 seconds up on Matthew Higgs, though. Higgs is really making him sweat. So that may come down to the line there pretty soon. These 2 cars are slowly closing the gap to the lapped cars of Michael Magus and John Picha up ahead. So we'll see what role the traffic plays, either for Murray Iwanchuk or against him, in favor of James Butler off the track. No, James, no! James Butler losing it at No Name. Looks like he's regained his... let's have a look. Oh, we're not going to get a good look at him. I was going to say, let's have a look at... Oh, we're getting a replay. Okay, that's good. So here we are. James Butler.
Maybe he is controlling it then.
Making his way through Rivage. Heading towards No Name. And let's see what happens here. Just kind of loses traction. Boom. Into the tire barrier. Hopefully his car is not too heavily damaged. But I can't imagine that he escaped scot-free from that, because this game is not... these cars are not the most durable in this game. We'll just put it that way.
They are, in fact, made out of tinfoil and spit.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Young has dropped back further, so Jonathan Young's day continuing to get worse and worse. He's back down to 10th place. And this is our race leader, Travis Wallace, in the Emile Frey Lexus, being chased by the Land Motorsports Audi of Matthew Higgs. Shout out to Matthew Higgs, Little Higgs, Richard Higgs' son, doing real good in his debut here. Although he claims that he might have been driving the Richard Higgs car for a couple of other events. So, every time we've had Richard Higgs have a really good performance, we're just going to assume it's Matthew now. It's gonna get no credit. Wesley Stokes has also dropped back a fair ways to 8th. We did see that his bonnet was open. That might largely explain that particular problem.
Bonnet.
Last lap by James Butler was a 3:08, so he's gonna have to get on his horse there to get back up to pace. He is in the pit lane, actually, so it would appear that Butler did suffer at least enough damage to warrant a pit stop with his collision with the tire barrier. Here is Matthew Higgs, running still in second place there. He is 2 seconds, within 2 seconds of Travis Wallace, so he is... It's making Travis work for it. You'd think with Mike Stoppnell out of the equation that this would be Travis's race to lose, and also like Leandro Carroll also having a pretty bad day. But Matthew Higgs announcing himself as a guy to look at in the future as a threat to championships in Race Room and also in ASSETTO CORSA. There are the full standings. Travis Wallace, Matthew Higgs, Murray Iwanchuk, Car Heroes, John Barker, James Butler, George Rivera, Wesley Stokes, Michael Magus, Jonathan Young, John Picha, and Leandro Carroll. Very unusual to see Leandro Carroll back in 12th place. He is a very fast driver, but clearly has had some technical difficulties in this race.
Well, I mean, technically it's wet.
We're all feeling that, though. 30.2 for Travis Wallace, 30.5 for Higgs, so 0.3 advantage that lap to the Lexus driver, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems like Higgs is just catching up to him constantly. So I wonder if that gap wonder if it's maybe the first sector where Wallace is able to pull away, maybe getting a better run through Eau Rouge. There's James Butler rejoining in the background there. He is down to 7th place in the Porsche, and we will see what Matthew Higgs has got. His best lap of the race is a 29.6, which is very respectable. There is Murray Iwanchuk trailed by the lapped car of Michael Magus, who's in 9th place. Magus is running a 2:38, which is not a competitive lap time at this point, although John Picha running a 2:50 as I just say that, so a bit unfortunate there. What would be your car of choice here in the ASSETTO CORSA world there, Byron?
Gumpert.
A Gumpert.
Because I like saying it.
I know, it's a fun word.
It's More fun than saying Koenigsegg, but it's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ariel Atom, just because it's small and hilarious.
Ariel Atom, yes.
Deploy the Reliant Robins.
God. Reliant Robins. Oh my god. That would be terrible. So
I know about some cars. I know about the hilarious cars.
You generally know about the comical or the very weird ones.
Bring out every iteration of the Zonda.
The Zonda is fun. The Zonda has its own class and race room, actually. They don't even really want to put it with any other cars.
That seems fair.
We were pondering doing a Zonda series at some point, so that should be interesting if that happens.
Sweet. Just be awesomely hilarious and just spring it on the Academy people 1 week.
Here's the Zonda, everybody. Oh, God.
No practice. Let's go.
That's a terrible idea.
You say terrible. I say best.
229 for Travis. So Travis has got pedal to the metal right now, and he's pulling out a little bit of a gap on Higgs. Higgs did a very respectable 30.1, though, so he's still there. He is going to make Travis work, and there is 27.5 minutes to go here, so the gap is 2.2 seconds between the leader and second place. Could Higgs get a win on debut here? That would be intriguing.
I'm going to go with maybe.
One would think that the Audi would be a little bit better in the wet than the Lexus, although he did get a little bit out of shape there through Radillon, which, of course, is one of the areas that's going to be increasingly problematic due to the puddling that's probably collecting there and the wet water. Of course, also could be challenging to keep your tires properly temperatured on this track, and the chance of overheating them is pretty high. I know there were a couple of drivers who were complaining about overheated tires here in the wet. Car Heroes running in 5th place, having a very good day. Congratulations to him. He is currently hunting down John Barker, who's having also a very good day. John Barker up in 4th place for the Acura Honda team. And George Rivera, who I believe is making his debut, is up to 6th. So a really good day for some drivers. They're really bringing home really good results right now. And that is Car Heroes running the Car Heroes. I wonder if this is actually, I think, a custom livery, because I don't recognize this livery from Blancpain anyway. So
well, it does look pretty good.
He may be running a custom one as well, and it gets the Byron seal of approval. There is Leandro Carroll and Jonathan Young in their Ferraris. They are in 10th, and, that's Carroll maybe making a move on John Peach's Lexus. Nope, it appears like he's just unlapping himself, so it looks like he just got onto the same lap as John Peach. Jonathan Young is moving up to lap both of them, so they will be seeing the blue flags to allow the Ferrari of Jonathan Young through, although not at this time. Picha not being the best at getting out of the way there. And, okay, he is out of the way now. So that has been handled. And, looks like, is that hood looking right in John Peach's car? Or is he possibly driving with a little bit of damage? I think he might be, actually.
Well, I mean, the rain is very heavy, and therefore it's probably fucked up his bodywork, because, as previously stated, these are made out of rice paper.
Yeah, it looks like his front end is slightly just... It's got a gap there. Makes me think he's hit something at some point. And
probably squirrel.
Has not repaired the car, or he has repaired the car, and that's the best they can do, because obviously it's, when you go into the pits, you don't always get the car brought to a perfect condition if the damage is significant enough. So there is Jonathan Young trailing the lapped car of Leandro Carroll, but Carroll is sprinting away. We know that Leandro Carroll is very fast. There's Wesley Stokes running in 8th position. Car Heroes on the tail of John Barker. So he's caught John Barker's Audi/Acura NSX. Not Honda/Acura NSX. And is putting the pressure on. That Acura is not very fast. It desperately needs an update when they come in with the new cars. They're bringing in a new Acura, which is part of the Jensen Rocket team. And hopefully that will improve. Oh, Johnny the Peach off in the wall once again. That's a little bit painful for John Picha. We're getting a replay, by the way. I don't know if we need a replay of that, Martin.
Double penalized also for cutting the corner.
I feel like you're just making fun of John Picha at that point. And Car Heroes trailing John Barker across the start-finish straight into Eau Rouge. And Radion, which actually, by the way, listening to Travis try to pronounce some of these corners is hilarious. It's probably hilarious to hear me try to pronounce them as well. But Travis is particularly amusing with his southern accent, trying to pronounce largely French turn names.
He's not quite southern enough.
No, he's not Louisiana Southern. As John Barker continues to lead Car Heroes, but it does seem like Car Heroes' Porsche is the faster of the two cars right now. But you can see the spray coming up and the definite visibility issues that the water is offering. You're, of course, in behind a car, and it's very easy to understand how some professional drivers can make massive mistakes in the spray. I can think of Belgian 1999 Grand Prix at this very track in F1, which was absolutely terrible. If you were not a Jordan fan and were super excited that they won their first race ever with Damon Hill.
Michael Jordan?
No, Eddie Jordan.
Oh.
Who was probably one of the funnest F1 driver owners of all time. He would get supermodels to come to his launch party, and including a model by the name of Katie Price, who went by the name Jordan, was of course a featured model on his launches. So
makes sense.
Sexy cars and half naked, sexy women.
Makes sense to me.
So coming out of the spray, here comes Car Heroes working on John Barker. I'm not sure what part of the track we're at here. Is this Blancpain? I think this is Blancpain. Yes, it is. And,
this is the middle part before the other part.
No, this is towards the end.
This is the part before the other part.
They're heading to the bus stop chicane. And we'll see if it looks like, surprisingly enough, the Acura just outdrags the Porsche in straight lines, which is a bit surprising because the Acura is known as not a particularly great straight line car. Car Heroes' Porsche is not amazing in that regard either, but I would have thought he would have been able to stay closer than this. But still in the spray, still working to try to get around. He's got 21 minutes to do it. Just thinking, is a podium really an option for him? Not really. He's about 33 seconds behind Murray Iwanchuk, so it would involve Murray making relatively serious errors, and he's a man who's not really under any pressure right now because he's quite a ways off of Matthew Higgs, quite a ways ahead of this battle between Barker and Heroes. Kind of unlikely that these guys can factor into the podium, but you never know. It's very wet, and unforced errors can occur.
Or you can just put him in the wall.
You have to catch up to him to put him in the wall.
Fire the blue shell.
Fire the blue shell. Well, that'll find Travis.
But then you might have a nice chain reaction.
That's true. The blue shell always seeks out the lead car.
Fire the plaid shell. It always hits the guy in the back.
I don't even really think that there's a point in that.
Spite.
There is the standings. Travis Wallace still leading the way from Matthew Higgs, Murray Iwanchuk, John Barker, Car Heroes, George Rivera, James Butler, Wesley Stokes, Michael Magus, Jonathan Young. Oh! John Barker made a mistake, and are we going to get a replay on that? Oh, I want a replay on that. Car Heroes into fourth. Okay, we're getting a replay.
No replay for you.
So it's No Name, I think, that's going to strike again. We've seen some problems through No Name. Okay, no, maybe Pouillon? Let's see here.
The Great Poupon?
Great Poupon. So it is Pouillon. Barker gets very wide and then just kind of loses it. And there's the slam in from Car Heroes. Hopefully Car Heroes didn't take any damage there. He will get fourth out of it, but I'd like a close-up of his car to see if he's acquired any damage. And, of course, there is the possibility that the Castrol Honda racing car has also picked up some damage at some point. in the hands of John Barker. Jonathan Young putting up some pretty good lap times there in 10th place. He's putting up 2:32s and is catching up to Michael Magus. Might have an overtake battle there at some point. And here is George Rivera. Hey, it is George. So George or Jorge Rivera, not sure which, making a move to lap John Picha there. He is in the Slovakian Audi. And John Barker now has been relegated to 5th. Pierce's car is intact from that spin and contact with Car Heroes, which is good. Saves him a pit stop. But he's got 18 minutes to go, and I don't think he really has anything for Car Heroes at this point. Car Heroes appears to be the faster of the two cars.
I was going to ask, is there going to be intentional pit stops rather than accidental pit stops in this one?
No, this one should be all accidental pit stops. You can carry enough fuel, and with the wet weather, the tire wear is not really a huge concern. So this should be a pit stopless race, although I can tell you that at this point, we have seen pit stops from James Butler, Michael Magus, Mike Stoppmill, John Picha, Wesley Stokes. So, almost Leandro Carroll, almost everyone has made a pit stop to fix damage at some point in this race. Not the greatest endorsement for ESR's driving quality this particular race because of the amount of damage being taken.
I think you guys should do a race in tremendous hail.
That'd be intriguing. Here is John Barker going through the section that he spun off with last time around. Looked like he made it through there clean. And here's Murray Iwanchuk, who is coming up to lap Wesley Stokes in the Mercedes. Pretty much on his own right now. He's very far behind the battle for the lead between Higgs and Wallace. Neighborhood of a minute there back. And, of course, we commented very far ahead of Car Hero, so pretty much just looking like a podium. He just needs to keep it clean, keep it on the track, and not let the wet get to him.
And set everybody else on fire.
Jonathan Young, by the way, took out 5 seconds out of Mike Magus that last lap and is now within a second of the surviving Bentley. So that is going to get interesting for the Bentley Mike Sport team.
Have you tried just driving incredibly fast?
Tried that.
Well, shit.
Beyond my abilities, generally.
Well, push the gas pedal harder. Get a bigger gas pedal. That'll work.
We pick up John Barker again, who has fallen about 3 seconds off of Car Heroes. He is, I believe, the last place car on the lead lap. I believe it is just the top 5 that are running the lead lap right now, which is, of course, Wallace, Higgs, Iwanchuk, Heroes, and Barker. And I think they are also probably 5 of the 6 cars that have not had to make a pit stop at this point in the race. The other one, I think, being, I don't think George Rivera has taken a pit stop. He is in 6th place.
I would agree.
Speaking of George Rivera, he's been between Matthew Higgs and Travis Wallace for some time, so maybe needs to be called to task a little bit for the blue flag behavior. Maybe, that or Higgs just was unable to catch up with him. I'm not sure which is more likely, but he does let Higgs through now. Higgs is 4.5 seconds behind Travis Wallace now. We do have a yellow flag, so somebody is off the track somewhere. And we may see another pit stop as a result of that. Can't quite see who it might be. But there is Matthew Higgs trying to catch up with the Lexus of Travis Wallace, who's led pretty much the whole way after getting the lead at Eau Rouge over Mike Stoppmill, who's out of the race at this point. John Peach has moved up to 11th, so whoever's in 12th place is the one who I think triggered that yellow flag. Most likely.
I think it was probably the government.
Could be the government. Could be the government.
Not going to say which government. Because they might try and come find me.
They may try and come find you as a troublemaker, rabble-rouser.
Correct. And then I would
Rebel.
Area 51.
So we're back on board with Matthew Higgs. He's got to put the pedal to the metal and see if he can... He's already closed down Travis by about a second this lap, though. So once getting around George Rivera, or Jorge Rivera, again, correct us, provide us with the proper pronunciation, and we will use it. He is trying to catch up to Travis Wallace. He's got the gap down to 3 seconds. Not undoable here with 13 minutes to go. There's a lot of time.
You can do it.
We'll see if he can make it happen. Check what the lap times were last time around here when they come across the line. They are approaching the start-finish line. Heading through Blancpain now. There is Murray Iwanchuk, third place. Or pardon me, this is John Barker in the Acura. Trying to track down Car Heroes. Looks like he has gained a little bit on him, but it is still at about 3 second gap there between the 4th and 5th place cars. Heading through Lecum.
Is that right next to Le Brush?
Might be. Richard Higgs run a 30.4 last time around. Didn't see what Travis ran. Rivera across the line with a 38 flat. And the next person across the line will be James Butler. We'll see what his time is as well.
I think you should probably get a custom setup for your car so it just blares Sweet Home Alabama the entire time.
James Butler put up at a pretty solid 32.5, so good work there. Custom setup with Sweet Home Alabama, that'd be pretty solid. Would work quite well, I think. Here is Car Heroes. The car, I'm assuming not his real name. If it is his real name, I'll be stunned and very impressed.
I've been calling him Chris Hero nonstop.
Chris Hero, beware. We'll at some point recruit a guy named Eddie Kingston. It won't go well for him.
Correct.
He'll be running through the Discord yelling, "Where are you, Hero?" On board with, well, not on board, we're in Swingman with John Barker, who is still on the lead lap, so kudos to John Barker. He's had some problems. He's not been particularly fast. Fastest lap's only a 34 flat, which was his last one. But he's been consistent enough to retain a top, a lead lap position and P5 in the race, which is very solid.
And also, he did murder that fan.
Oh, looking at the side of his car there, it's very crumpled. That would be where, presumably, where Car Heroes gave him the business in the door. Heading through La Source and towards Eau Rouge.
The Oju?
Oju. La Source du Oju.
Very nice.
And of course, getting Eau Rouge right is one of the great pleasures being a race car driver, to be honest, because it is a potentially flat out turn, but a lot of drivers can't actually do it flat out. So that's always nice. 30.7 last time around for Travis Wallace, 30.8 for Matthew Higgs. So Wallace pulling a 1/10 of a second over Wallace or over Higgs on that lap to widen out the gap to about 3 seconds still. They're pretty close together. Michael Magus in 10th place. Fastest lap is a 33.9. Last lap around was a 39.1, which is terrible. Definitely an incident-filled race for the Bentley, and considerable struggles throughout the track here as he heads through the 3rd sector of the track, I think. Or are we still in the 2nd sector? I think we're still in the 2nd sector. Yeah, indeed. And heading towards the area where he had his accident, which was Blancpain. And then we'll be finishing up this lap, so we'll see what he can do. Let's see if the car is carrying any damage. Looks good. Looks healthy. And it is the surviving Bentley with Mike Stoppmill out of the race, running in 10th place.
You can do it!
Through Blancpain he goes, heading towards the bus stop chicane. Very good ping, 35 milliseconds. And he makes his way through there. He is the only one carrying the AM qualification there, the red numbering, indicating the AM. And coming across the line to complete this lap, 34.3. Respectable, but not amazing. There's Matthew Higgs, still trying to catch Travis Wallace, but the gap is growing. It's up to about 4 seconds now. It had been below 3 at one point. And the Monteplus by Land Motorsports car is pretty much been there almost the entire race after Mike Stoppmill had some kind of accident that took him away from the battle for the lead. But he's really not had a solid challenge to Travis Wallace, though he has had a couple of laps where he's reeled him in and made him sweat. He's making him work for it, but hasn't really had a go at the lead, unfortunately. He hasn't been close enough to do that.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is press the gas pedal a little harder. It's pretty easy, guys.
There's a little bit more to it than that. So there's a lot more to it than that. Heads across the line, 30.7 that last lap, and he's let's see here, is he closing? Yeah, closing a little bit on Travis Wallace again. He's got the gap down again, briefly there under 4 seconds. Oh no! And that is probably going to take all the pressure off of Travis Wallace at this point. We get a replay. I don't think we really needed one. Just got out on the rumble strip a little bit too hard and contacts those big barriers that separate the pit lane from the track.
See, we were talking about power sliding previously on a different race. That's totally perfect technique. It's just the timing's atrocious.
Yeah, indeed. And that's put Travis Wallace about 20 seconds in the lead now. Travis, if you blow this lead,
I'm going to laugh.
We're going to laugh. We're not going to let you forget it. And the loneliest man on this track has been for a long time Murray Iwanchuk as he comes across the line. 32.6, running pretty respectable lap times. Just no one really to race for him right now. It's been kind of boring. He had some fun early on, but it's been a while since he's really had anyone to make him work. And I'm sure he'll take the podium. To quote Daniel Ricciardo from the Monza race this weekend, boring can be good.
Well, in that case, I'm just going to shut up.
Not from a commentator standpoint, sir. Car Heroes making his way through the bus stop chicane as he comes across the line. He's still about only 3.5 seconds to 4 seconds ahead of John Barker, so that fight's not over yet. 34.6 this time around. We'll see, what did Barker do? Barker did a 34.3, so Barker 0.3 faster that lap. Closing in on Car Heroes a little bit. I think this is really the last battle we've really got, is the battle for fourth place between Car Heroes and John Barker. No one else is no one else is very close to each other.
Well, I mean, it's about communication, and you two can grow closer.
That's true. I mean, John Picha and Mike Magus are really close together, but they're not on the same lap, so it's not really racing.
I suppose.
As in fact, Mike Magus does make the move and puts John Picha down another lap. So, you know what? Credit to John Picha, though. He's out there. He's trying. He's down multiple laps. He's clearly struggling, but he is not giving up. And he is going to get some valuable experience around Spa, which is a track that is used by a lot of series. It's one that has invaluable knowledge to it. And he's also getting to know that Lexus like it's an extension of his body at this point. Or was that too metaphysical?
But does it have cup holders?
I would imagine the Lexus does.
You have spilled my macchiato.
There's a quick recap of the full standings. Travis Wallace leading from Matthew Higgs, Murray Iwanchuk, Car Heroes, John Barker, George Rivera, James Butler, Wesley Stokes, Jonathan Young, Michael Magus, John Picha, and Leandro Carroll. I can confirm that Peachy appears to be about 4 laps down to the leaders, 2 laps down to the next car. So we continue to ride with John Barker, who was catching up with Car Heroes a little bit. I think this lap, though, Heroes is striking back and has pulled the gap out to about 6 seconds, 32.5 by Jonathan Young. That's a very respectable lap time. Wesley Stokes with a 49.4. I suspect there were some problems on that lap. If I were to take a guess, 2:49 is a very long lap around here. Michael Magus a 2:36.9, not a great lap, but not a terrible one. We'll see what we now with James Butler. James Butler is actually catching up with George Rivera and appears to be on the same lap as him. So we could get a battle for 6th place here. We know that Butler at one point was looking at like a possible podium contender. Then he had some problems and, went off at no name, had to make that pit stop, and is trying to make a comeback now.
Well, it's a little too late because everybody's already finished, and we were just toying with him the whole time.
No. You know what? He could catch George Rivera. He's got two laps to do it. I think he can do it.
That is possible.
I believe the only John Barker's here too. So one half of the British contingent. James Butler. There is George Rivera up ahead of him in the very colorful Audi livery. So Porsche versus Audi, bit of a classic rivalry that exists between two companies owned by the same people, unostentatiously. And he is really catching up to George Rivera now. Rivera is, I don't know if he's carrying damage or what might be the case here, but he is very slow in a straight line, and James Butler is just going to take that position nice and easily with a pretty respectable 33.4 there. Rivera was in the 41s that lap, so I don't know if he's been off or what the case is for George Rivera, but he is dropping like a stone right now, and director has crashed again. Thank you for that, Martin. And we return to rejoin James Butler here. 1:25 remaining in the race. So this should probably be the final lap for most people that they're on. Maybe one after the lap they're on now. Murray Iwanchuk is officially on his last lap. Put up with 2:32 there. Pretty solid. Just looking to see here if there's any battles going on. Nothing really. Things are fairly decided right now. Jonathan Young, 33.1 lap time last time around. Good work. Wesley Stokes, 34 flat. And in terms of the lead, Travis Wallace is still very far ahead of Matthew Higgs. So it looks like Lexus will be taking home a victory here at Spa-Francorchamps in the hands of the USA's own Travis Wallace.
Maybe. He has to pass the drug test first.
No, he never passes a drug test. He's just exempt from. We just expect him to fail. Butler coming around for what probably is more or less his final trip here through Blancpain and the bus stop chicane. Might have one more. Again, the problem here is there we are. Travis he will have one more lap. Travis coming across the line. With a 29.9, so Travis Wallace pushing hard still, despite the fact that he seems to have things well in hand. So he is on his final lap, which means this could be the end for James Butler here as he comes around Blancpain into the bus stop chicane. 6th place would be a pretty solid result for the Academy driver. Doing well, though. He's established silver eligibility in ACC. Very good. And coming across the line now to theoretically complete the race with a 33.2. Very good lap time as well. Good work by James Butler.
I agree.
George Rivera has dropped very far behind him, so again, not sure what's up with George Rivera, but dropping like an absolute stone right now. Leandro Carroll there, trying to do his best. He put up a 33.3 there, which is a pretty good lap time, but he is still down in last place in 12th.
I think Rivera obviously ran out of washer fluid.
Possibly. Just absolutely blinded by the spray at this point, maybe. I don't know. Failure of the windshield wiper? And Mike Stockmill has been saying that you really don't appreciate the elevation changes that exist at Spa until you've been to the track. Because of course he was here a little over a week ago. He was actually at this track, and apparently it is a thing to see, according to him.
I would have to believe him because I ain't been there.
George Rivera has dropped down to 10th place, so serious problems here for George Rivera towards the end of the race. Things going badly for him. We got a yellow flag on course. Not sure what the cause of that would be, other than possibly it is Mr. Rivera, who appears to not be moving. So that suggests that he is indeed the cause of the yellow flag. James Butler still racing around here in 6th place, still doing pretty well. Checkered flag is being shown, so next time across the finish line will be his final one that counts. John Peach finishing. Oh, there we are. Looks like
I mean, I think it'd save us all a lot of time if you guys just did the last lap first.
Well, there we go. Your winner appears to be Travis Wallace from Matthew Higgs, Murray Iwanchuk, Car Heroes, John Barker, James Butler, Jonathan Young. A lot of J's there. Wesley Stokes, Michael Magus, George Rivera, and then it is John Picha and Leandro Carroll. 24 laps was the total distance for the top 5 that finished on the lead lap. 1 lap down for Butler, Young, Stokes, and Magus and Rivera. 3 laps down for Picha and 4 laps down for Carroll. And there's Matthew Higgs at the side of the road, maybe parked celebrating his 2nd place, or maybe out of gas. I don't know. I don't know which is more likely, actually. And you can see the fireworks going off in the background.
Pew pew.
This game does know how to celebrate. You get a big fireworks display. It's very nice. Makes you feel like you properly won something. Anyways, that was the ASSETTO CORSA race. 1 hour of Spa. Byron, did you enjoy yourself?
It was tremendous. I enjoyed the extremely crazy weather and extremely crazy action, and I think Matthew Higgs could have won that if he was an SSD instead of an SSR.
Shots fired.
Just a little faster.